Hey y'all, y'all, like I'm from the South. I'm not, so not that there's anything wrong with that. So good morning. Uh, I was just on the other side, like I scooted over a couple on TikTok because I was listening to um, what's her name, Diana Ross, singing from Detroit, Detroit City. So good morning. Good morning. Hey, Beth from Destination Decluttered. Beth from Destination Decluttered. Beth, I am Destination Decluttered. I am. Carla, nice to see you. Long time no see, huh, hon? Um, and it must have been rubbing off from talking to you yesterday, my southern friend, because I said y'all. Now, I do love the y'all because it is all inclusive. You know, I have actually, it's hanging in the other room, but I have a postcard that I bought that it says, I love all y'all, you know. So here I am for all y'all. And I don't know, what do you want to get into today? What's going to really help for you? Do you need a kick in the pants? I can totally give you a kick in the pants. I can be a good pants kicker, but a kick in the pants, clutter wise, otherwise, is like, it's like a push, it's like a shove. I really prefer, because this is where, as I joke in my Wayne's World way, this is where the magic happens, is when you go like a layer deeper. You know, I just did a video out in my kitchen. Hey, Ellen, and thank you for reminding me that it says me, but your name is Ellen. So thank you. Nice to see you. And Becky and Carol and Miss Julie and Robin. Cat Mama, nice to see you too. Excellent, Carla. I haven't checked my emails yet this morning, but I am so glad that yesterday fired you up. Notice these words we use. I love it because I was thinking about it after we talked yesterday. So, dude, when you say you're stoked, when you're stoked, you stoke a fire. You keep the fire burning, as what's his face would say from the 80s. What's that song? Keep the fire. Kenny Loggins, maybe, from the Yacht Rock folks. You're stoked. I'm on fire. Yesterday fired me up. That to me is a good sign because you need that energy to get yourself started. Now, you may be ablaze. You may just have a burning ember that you want to kind of, encourage to become a more sustainable flame. You don't want it to burn out and you don't want it to burn up, right? Danielle, nice to see you as well. Yeah, y'all, what are we going to get into today? If you know me, and you've checked out my TikTok lives before, you know that I totally love it when you take this time. So I am going to be kind of doing this TikTok live for the next hour or so, and then I hop right into coaching and consultations today. And I'm probably going to do some decluttering around my own house. I love it when you take the time, you make the time to declutter, even when I am doing my TikTok live. While my ego would be like, oh, look, they're all just sitting there, like looking at me and every word. Let's make the most of the time we have. Some things work, not so well when you're multitasking, but here, listen to me. Pretend it's a podcast. Pretend you can't see the screen and just listen to me for the next hour while you go around your house and declutter. Can you imagine all of us? Now, I can't do it because I need to think about these things because I'm providing the content, but all you need to do is just open your ears, open your mind, open your heart. Hear what I have to say. If it resonates, awesome. If it doesn't, awesome. Notice where it falls flat, but notice where it might spark a little flame in you to get you going. Now, I also know the feeling of hanging around in bed scrolling on TikTok. I was doing it a half hour ago myself. So you do you. But if you're looking for a little push, who was it? There was a coach I worked with for a while. A loving shove. A little, you know what? Ugh, let's just get up. Overcoming that inertia and getting moving. You let this time between 8 a.m. Eastern and 9 a.m. Eastern today, right now, while I'm doing this TikTok live, let me showing up be the push for you to go and declutter your surfaces. Don't get into the deep stuff, because here's the deal. When I talk about clutter, is I talk about surface, stored, and sentimental. Now, stored clutter and sentimental clutter are things that usually need to have decisions made on them. Decisions require you to pay attention to what your brain is saying and what your heart is saying. But surface clutter usually is stuff that is just where it isn't supposed to be yet. It's not in the trash, it's not in the cupboard, it's not in the laundry room, it's not wherever. So how about using this next 55 minutes, even a partial amount of time where I'm doing my TikTok live, for you to bop around your house and do some stuff with your surface clutter. Okay? Okay? And if you don't want to do that, you do you. This is the beauty of the way I coach, is I coach virtually. I don't force you to do anything. This is all about you and you paying attention to you and deciding what feels right for you to do at the time. Okay? So I just want to inspire you with that. And Pinky Silver Chloe, I see you say loving shove. Yes, that is not mine. I know. I wish I could remember her name. I hung out with her for a little while. It wasn't like a personal thing. Coach wise, I think she's from England or Ireland maybe. Regardless, I just wanted to make sure that that's not like a phrase that I created. I got it from somebody else. But Cat Mama has a topic she wants me to talk about. So in case we haven't met yet, I see a bunch of new people have signed on. My name is Beth. I am a decluttering life coach. Decluttering your life. I'm both decluttering and life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered because I love to travel, and you will often hear me talk about things in a road trip kind of driving metaphor. Okay? So Cat Mama says, listen to 2 lives on Tuesday to go through stored nice things. Can you talk about money spent? Boy, can I talk about money spent, because boy, have I spent money. Now, I would love to get into this, and maybe this will be a little bit more podcasty, and I'm going to experiment with doing some sort of podcasty type things. People on the mailing list will know about that before anybody else, but getting into one topic, money spent. You and I have spent money in our lives on things that we hope, with the promise of it making our lives better. Let's be really general. You buy something to make your life better. I bought a clock so I can tell time. I bought a mug so I'm not drinking my tea out of my hands. I bought some vintage train cases because they delighted my eyes and I thought they were fun. Sometimes what we do with our money works out. The things that you keep are the things that have kind of passed the test. Sometimes you buy stuff and it doesn't work out. Or sometimes you spend money on something and you hope it's going to do what it's supposed to do and it's not. I have bought stuff that hasn't worked out. It may work out for a while and then it doesn't, or immediately when you get home, you try it, it doesn't work. I remember specifically buying like a salt shaker that I thought was going to be really cool, and I went to go use it and it had a little flip top and the salt came down and like poured out. Just know this about spending money, having nothing to do with clutter. Here's an idea. We spend money to feel better, to solve a problem, because a problem is, pain and we want to solve the problem. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Get cool with that concept. Look for evidence in your life of where things have worked out when you've spent money and good investment, and sometimes it hasn't. That's how it works. Here's where it comes into play with clutter. Is when we have spent money on a thing and that thing hasn't worked out. But check this out. We have a story in our head. We have a voice. We have a voice in our head. We have a sentence in our head, a little ticker tape, because you could translate that voice into written words, that says something to the tune of, I can't get rid of that. I spent so much money on it. That, I think somehow, basically you're going to feel bad for some reason if you rehome something you spent money on. And a lot of money is variable between people. Okay? So just think about this. This is a common thing with all of us. We live in a money-based society. We spend money on things, and we think that the more money we spend, Like there's more of a hold on it. I actually remember right now, maybe last week, within the past couple of weeks, I've done a TikTok live where I shared about the fact that I prior to my now currently wonderful marriage, I had a very short unhappy marriage, and having to break the news to my parents that it wasn't working out, and it made it extra hard because my parents spent a lot of money on my first wedding. Absolve yourself, release yourself here. You know what? I'm like the Pope here. I absolve yourself of the guilt of spending a lot of money on something that doesn't work out. It has happened in your past. It may happen today, and it's going to happen in the future. It's part of the human experience. Release yourself from the expectation that you can somehow make your money back if you buy something. Maybe know that before you spend the money, but if you don't, release yourself from that, and lessons learned. Learn a lesson from the what am I thinking? The transaction. So maybe you don't do it again. Okay? Maybe you don't spend as much money on something. Okay? Yeah. The thing that can jam us up is when we think we're going to get the money back from the thing that we spent money on. Okay? I get this. I have sold items. I have gotten some money back. I have given away things. I don't get any money back, but I get a good feeling because it's easy to give away versus the steps it takes to sell. So if you think you're going to get your money back from something, try to sell it. Try to get the money back. See how that goes. It may work out for you, but what I have found, I'll be honest with you, is sometimes it's a lot of work for very little return. I have a friend who owns a vintage clothing store in Westchester, Pennsylvania, just down the street. She buys and sells vintage clothing. She is excellent at it. She's been doing it for 20 years. She is one of the she's really good at it. And I have bought stuff from her. I have sold stuff to her. And she said to me, because we've talked about these things, I say to people, do you want to make a quick nickel or a slow dime? A quick nickel, doing it for cheap. A slow dime, you got to take some time, and you may make more money, but it's going to cost you time. Okay? Cat Mama, does that help? Did I get it? Because when you said, can you talk about money spent? I guess the other thing I would want to put in quickly on that kind of topic is, and I got this again, I like to, kind of cite people. I don't want to take credit for things that are not my ideas, but Seth Godin, look him up. He's a goofy looking bald guy, but he's got a lot of good ideas. I know that was judgy of me. People could say I'm a goofy looking lady with hair on my head. But he talks about the sunk costs, the sunk cost fallacy. Now, I don't quite get what the fallacy is, and I'm going to write that down. Why is it a fallacy? But think about it. They do this in business all the time. Businesses will invest in something and see if it works. If it works, they keep it open. But if they invested money in something that doesn't work, it is a business. It is a rational. It is a business expense, and they stop investing the money in it and they let it go. This is why maybe a place will open up a store in a certain area, and if it's not doing well, they close it. Get yourself used to releasing yourself from the expectation. Invest in what you think is going to work. If it doesn't, cut your losses. As soon as you find out something isn't working, get it out of your life. Both divorces and flip-flops that don't fit. 2 examples from my life. One from 30 plus years ago. One from literally last week when I was on vacation. I bought a pair of flip-flops. They were too small for my feet. I was getting a blister, and I said, you know what, this isn't going to work. I know I spent money, and I did. I spent like $60 on a pair of flip-flops. To me, that was kind of an investment. But I knew the more I had the flip-flops, I was just going to get a blister. So you know what I did? I took them off my feet, and I emailed or I texted a handful of friends, does anybody wear a size 7? I got these nice flip-flops. I barely worn them. Does anybody want them? Friend said, yeah, I'll take them. Wonderful. As soon as I knew I had a place, I felt good giving them to her. I then walked to her house yesterday, gave her the flip-flops. We had a wonderful day, wonderful conversation. But immediately when something wasn't working out, I have gotten better at noticing that and kind of cutting my losses. The sooner you do that, the sooner I'm not getting blisters on my feet, and the better I felt, because then I knew to get the bigger size of flip-flop. Now I have them. Okay. Hope that helped, Cat Mama. If not, follow-up question. You know I'm good. Becky is saying she's working on organizing digital photos while moving them from the old PC to my new laptop. I love that. That is great. Digital organization is a neighbor of what I do. I like to work with real clutter. I am a lot more, not disorganized, I'm much more loosely organized with my digital things because notice the organization. We organize things so they fit in a certain space and so we know where to find it, so we can easily find something. The digital space is different from your home because digital space, you can buy more space easily. You know, I run out of space on my whatever, iCloud. I send them a couple more bucks a month. They give me more space so I can expand. I can find things easily on my phone and on my, well, not on my phone, usually on my computer, by hitting Control F. You know what I mean? Look for the thing that has the keyword. Looking for a photograph that I'm thinking of on a map, that type of thing. But in our houses, we can't hit Control F. I guess you could say, hey, Alexa, show me where did I put my clothes? But we don't live in that kind of house. But notice the difference between digital and physical clutter. And I like helping people with the physical clutter because it also looks better. So, Marley, I'm glad I'm doing lives too. Oops, oh crap. I did another thing where I hit a button. I apologize. Oh, this happened before. Maybe it's because I'm left-handed. Probably is because I'm left-handed. Okay, I'm going to do something. Okay, Kay Shui, I just followed you, and I'm going to see if I can... Okay, there we go. Don't take it personally. I didn't mean to do that. I just hit the wrong button. But yes, you said amen, preach, sister. Okay, I know I need to get rid of stuff and cut my losses, but I struggle with the guilt from childhood. Hun, I am there with you. I get that. This is how I may be different from other decluttering people. I like to go the next layer down. So I can say on the surface, oh, just get rid of what you do. But you've got a story. You have a story in your head. And everybody, we all have this. You have words in your head that cause you to feel a feeling in your heart. You know, I have a story from my childhood that causes a struggle that makes me feel guilty. And notice the guilt feeling. You probably feel guilty. When you feel guilty, you hear the guilt here, but you may feel it in your body. That head and heart connection is something worth examining. This is why I decided to become a certified life coach, is because I love to get into the why behind things. Now, I am not interested in the real, true psychological. I am not a licensed mental health professional. But we can do so much with just going one layer deeper and saying, what's up with that? And approaching it with curiosity, with love in our hearts, with patience, with kindness, to unravel and listen to the stories you have. Don't judge them, don't shut them down, but notice where your life is coming from, because your life is based on the stories. I'm telling you, my life started changing when I started telling myself better stories. Boy, did my life start changing. When I was telling myself worth stories, it was kind of shitty. Yeah. Oh, hey, Christina Glendale, nice to see you. Your space should tell a story you love. Yes. Yes. You know what you would see if you walked into my house? You would see stuff we loved. You would also see, this is interesting, you would see stuff that I collected back in the day that nowadays I don't collect. So it's a bit of a history. This is who we used to be, but we've lived in the house for 20 years. I now enjoy not collecting, but you know what I love collecting? Experiences. I love taking photographs. I love connecting with people. So love is where it's at. Okay. But notice that when you have, this will help maybe too. And okay, so I said you could go around and do some decluttering. I'm stumbling. Maybe I need some more caffeine. Here, hold on. Oh, much better. Your thoughts make you feel a feeling, and when you feel a feeling, you do a thing. And notice, this is the one time I was going to say that it might help for you to look at the screen, because my hands go to 3 places. It goes from my head to my heart to my hand. Notice the connection between your head, your heart, and your hand. I love it when they both all begin with the same letter. An alliteration, I think it's called. But notice this, and this is where it's different too. On the one hand, I feel like I grew up Catholic, so I'm like doing this like, ah, Father, who art in heaven. I feel like I'm doing like this. On the one hand, you can have words in your head that tell a sad story, a scary story, a story based in fear. That is going to cause your nervous system to feel a certain way. It's going to It's going to feel fearful. And when you are thinking fearful and feeling fearful, what's going to happen in your head and your heart, your hand will kind of constrict unto itself. You will roll yourself in a ball. You will try to protect yourself. You will become an armadillo with the shell on the outside. And your hand will hang on to things that you may not want, but you're afraid to let go of it. Afraid, fear, on the one hand. For decades of my life, I thought that was the only story available because it seemed like it was, because it's all I ever heard around me and in my head, so I thought that's just how things were. I am here to tell you from the other side, from a life filled with light and space and fun and rock stars on my couch and cute musician husbands and international adventures and friends who I love. I'm here to tell you there's another side of the story. The rest of the story. Who is that? Paul Harvey. The rest of the story. You can tell yourself a better story. You can rewrite. You can overwrite. You can use some of the words as inspiration to write yourself a story that is the other side of that fear. The other side of fear is love. And when you write a better story, you feel better in your nervous system, your heart. And when you think better and feel better, when you talk to yourself better and it makes you feel better, then, my dear, you're no longer an armadillo, you're open. You're open like a blooming flower. You can release things from your hand. I don't need that anymore. I don't need that anymore. Carla, let it go. Let it go. Because it feels good to let it go. But the decluttering does not start with moving stuff from your hands. It does in surface clutter because it's just pretty no-brainer. But once you get into stored clutter and sentimental clutter, your head and your heart are where you declutter before your hands ever move. Okay? So notice the story, Kei Shui. Notice the story you have from your childhood that causes you to feel guilt, that causes you to struggle. A struggle is a push me, pull you. Should I stay or should I go, as the Clash would say? Should I keep it? Should I let it go? I will tell you, I think, you know how they used to talk about, like, you've got the devil on one side, the angel on one shoulder? I kind of think of that in a similar vein of a tug of war, you know, a push me, pull you between your heart, your soul, the true you, what I call your co-pilot. The part of you, your soul, that is filled with 100% love for you, and all it wants to do is give you the best life possible. And it's like, go, do it, do the things. And it comes from a place of love. But fear, as we have grown up as humans, fear keeps us safe sometimes because it says, well, what if there's a tiger? What if I fall off that cliff? What if I go far away and there's no food? Fear has been baked into us for survival. But we tend to be fearful for things that aren't really survival based, but if we believe in the fear, we stay stuck. That's your backseat driver. I think of it as backseat driver in the backseat, and your co-pilot. Your co-pilot is God, is love, is the universe. And your co-pilot voice in you, when you can quiet down the kids in the backseat, shh, I'm trying to listen. I can't hear myself think. Shh. When you quiet that voice down, you don't shut it up, you quiet it down, you calm it down. And then when you do that, there is space for your co-pilot to speak and say, you got this. What kind of life do you want? You want to marry a cool rock star? Sure, let's try it. You want to go on vacation there? Yeah, let's try it. You want this room to be painted white when every other room in your house is painted a color? Yeah, let's do it. Listening to the love in your heart, letting the love have equal time. Don't let fear take the mic all the time. Okay? Notice these things. Good morning, good morning. Yeah, Kay Shui. Yeah, notice how we even you're using thanks, need to hear this. So hard not to cling to those old stories. I'm clinging because I'm afraid. This is where I say, and I could make probably a lot of money if I, made notebooks, but I'm telling you, buy yourself a 50-cent notebook at Staples, or invest in your life and make it, if it's a $3-4 notebook, go to town, my friend. Write down what you're afraid of. Write down what you're afraid of. Okay, and do this, and this is what I'm doing. And my body knows how to coach us before my mouth can even get the words out. Because you know what I'm doing right now? Some of you know, because you're my clients, is I am taking a piece of paper and I'm folding it in half. Write down what you're afraid of, but only take up half of the paper. Write down all those thoughts. I'm afraid, But then know that there's another side to it. For every fear over here, you can rewrite it and think of that opportunity as part of love. Okay? Getting your thoughts out of your head and onto paper, that's how the world was made. Okay? So thank you, German maid. First, nice to see you. Thank you for helping Cat Mama, Okay, Gina. Gina has a story of why she's got stuff. My dad gave away or threw away everything of mine as a child. So that fear of, or that sense of not being in control of your stuff, of somebody else telling you what you need and what you keep and what goes, being out of control of decision making, probably has caused you to say, oh yeah, when I grow up, I'm going to buy anything I want. Oh yeah, I'll show you. I know myself, I've done it. Please, I had like a Klondike bar and a bag of chips for dinner last night because we had them around. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to have that for dinner. You can't tell me I have to eat a salad. It happens to all of us. Okay? And a lot of us do. My mother used to tell us all the toys and everything were up in the attic. She didn't know we could open up the attic and it wasn't up there. It wasn't. A lot of us, that happened because, think about it. Think of your parents as people trying to deal with clutter and not having the access to what I'm talking about right now. They were probably like, I don't know what to do with this stuff. Oh, shit, I'll just throw it away. People are people, so why should it be? You and I should get along so awfully. Okay? Gina says, Mom saved my last doll and porcelain tea set. Well, that was nice of her. Yeah. You know what? And a lot of this, trust me, notice all this vintagey stuff behind me? I come from the collecting world. I come from the world of people saving old stuff, and I come from the world of people buying old stuff. And a lot of people, boomers, Gen Xers, will try to make up for a sad childhood by buying the things that they didn't get when they were kids. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I didn't go on vacation. We'd never traveled when I was a kid. So when I was old enough to get my driver's license, the first thing is I got on the road. I started taking road trips. I started collecting, little tchotchkes, little souvenirs, because when we sometimes would go occasionally, maybe once a summer, we would drive down and visit a friend on the Cape, but we would never stop at the cool stores, once or twice. But to me, it was like, oh, hey, can we stop there? No. Oh, yeah? When I get my license, when I'm a big girl, I'm going to do whatever I want. Okay? Okay, so Gina, notice that you have an imbalance. You have an amount of items in your home. This is what clutter is too, you guys. Clutter is the stuff in your home that feels like too much. I was talking about this with Christina just yesterday, about that feeling of not enough. You come from lack. When you don't have anything, you feel like I need to build up. I need to get out of it. If I'm hungry, I want to be satiated. What happens is then, because of the world we live in, we think, well, I need more than that. And that's when you start to feel full. When you have too much, you go from not having enough. You might blow past the kind of just right feeling that like, okay, I'm not hungry anymore. You push yourself away, you go do something. But no, we think I'm going to keep on eating for whatever reason. Maybe because you never had snacks as a child. Maybe you didn't have enough. So you think, the thing that made me feel bad was not having enough. I'm going to buy enough, and it's going to make me feel better to have more than enough. Notice the difference. Not enough, just right, too much. kind of like Goldilocks. Too hot, too cold, just right. Clutter is the stuff from your set point of feeling good, your just right feeling, and above. It's the too much. It's the stuff that makes you feel bloated. It's the number of items in your home that make you feel like there's too much. And that number is not a number. It is a set point in your nervous system. And it's yours is particular to yourself. I am a decluttering life coach. You have seen the inside of my house when I do other TikToks. You know that I have stuff in my home. It may be too much for you, but it's just right for me. Even right now, I'm thinking if I were to move somewhere else, I would declutter it before I moved. Okay? Now, I love this. Tamara Avis just said, I just went through the top of my closet. I donated 40 pairs of pants. Wonderful, wonderful. Notice that you had 40 pairs of pants that were making you feel like too much. Now, you don't want to get into the thing. I think the thing we fear is we don't know about that just right middle point. We think there's either too much or lack. I can't give it away or then I'll have none. Okay? Yeah. At what point do I purge? Asks Sue Ann with a little flamingo. I love flamingos. Actually, check it out. Got my flamingos right there. I'm trying to point to the screen. At what point do I purge? As soon as you realize that it's not feeling good to you. Remember I said earlier in the thread, maybe you weren't here, but I talked about last week being on vacation and I had bought a pair of flip-flops. I bought them too small because I thought that might help my feet because sometimes I get like blisters. No, they were a size smaller than I usually do and it didn't work out. As soon as I realized it didn't work, I stopped and I made a plan for them. I mentally made a decision not to own them anymore. And then I took the next steps. So at what point do I purge? If it's not feeling good. Right now, everybody, you could purge right now. And even notice the word we're using, purge. Isn't that interesting? Why is it always struggle and purge and tackle? You know why? Because people think decluttering is unfun. Oh my God, I think it is so fun. You get to play with your toys. You get to discover stuff about yourself. You discover what you used to like. You learn who you are now. And you get to create the Barbie dream house of your future. Think of it. You get to put exactly what you want in your house, like a Barbie dream house. And you get to not put the stuff in you don't want. And you can share those little Barbie couches and stuff with somebody else. Okay? And I say, honestly, seriously, start as soon as possible. Because the sooner you start, the sooner, and this is the road trip thing too, start now because the sooner you start driving towards it, you're going to get there sooner. And then, am I right? Christina, we talked about this. Now it can be weird because now I just walk around my house. It's not clean, it's dusty. It's decluttered. It's organized. It feels good. All the freaking time. Now, it's not perfect. I have some dishes in the sink and I have some laundry to put away and, I've got a few dribs and drabs here, but that's surface stuff. But when I open a cupboard, when I go through stuff, so much of it is at that just right feeling. And if it's not, like I can think of things in my basement that my husband and I kind of abandoned because we started traveling and having some fun, I know I'll get to it. I'm not worried about it. It's not looming over me. We just have to deal with it. Okay, notice that. Yes, Sue Ann. I still have my son's toys from childhood. Okay, without judgment. Notice I said unhelpful feelings, thoughts and feelings cause unhelpful things. Unhelpful is kind of on this side. Judgment, fear, guilt, shame, obligation are on one side. On the other side, love, curiosity, more love, more curiosity, more gentleness, more kindness. So with gentleness and curiosity and love, I ask you, so you can ask yourself in that same tone, why do you still have your son's toys from childhood? And notice the difference in the tone I'm using and the vibe I have. When I'm coming from love and curiosity, you can sense that. I could say the same words with a different tone. Why do you still have your son's toys from childhood? I don't know about you, but instead of that helping me, it hurts me. It causes me to recoil and curl up like an armadillo. But if somebody with genuine curiosity and love, then I can open up and then my brain goes, okay, it's safe for me to examine why I have this. You know what? Because my dad threw away all my toys when I was a kid. And I don't want to do that to my kids, so I saved all his toys. But now he's 37 years old and I still have his toys. This is interesting. Okay? So when you want to purge, when you feel like you want to do it, do it. Your body does it every day. You go into a small room of your house that probably has a tile floor, you shut the door. When your body says, I need to purge, you go purge. Think about your decluttering in the same way. When you're sick of holding in all the stuff you don't want, start letting it go. Yeah. And and as Michelle says, purging is essential, or just decluttering. I like decluttering. Purging to me sounds like binging, purging. Purging feels like there's a subtle difference in the words we use. And because I'm a coach and I listen to people's words, I really get mindful about it. That's why I try so hard not to say get rid of things, because that can be activating to people. Okay. Purging is essential for a clear space to develop new ideas and creativity. Yeah. And you know what it is too? A clear space to develop new ideas and creativity is your brain. Because when you have clutter and you have your backseat driver talking all the time, you're not being in creative mood. You're just listening to them and probably they're telling you what to do and you're doing it. When you can quiet them down, little kids in the backseat, shh, quiet down, calm down. Then you have a clear space to develop new ideas and creativity. Feels great. Oh, feels so good. Chuck Mangione, feels so good. Noam Sane is saying, I'm guilty of having to buy an item I like in every color, whether I need it or use it or not. Okay. Notice the words you use. I feel like the girl who's got the red pen. I should get a red pen. I'm guilty. Nobody's guilty. You've done something. You're not guilty of a crime. There is no crime. Having to buy an item. I have to buy an item I like in every color, whether I need it or use it or not. Something tells me back in the day, Noam Sane, that you didn't have a lot of things in all the colors, but now you have the ability to do that, so you're making up for lost time. Now, sometimes that works, but after a certain point, it doesn't. I've done that myself. I have a pair of capris that I liked, and instead of, I didn't have it in every color, but I liked them, so I bought them in 3 colors. And what I found was there was one pair that I tended to wear over and over again, and even though they were technically the same cut, each one of them felt a little bit different versus as far as it fit me, and also the way the color went with the clothing I already had. And I realized that I was never wearing the black ones and the white ones, strangely, but I was always wearing the khaki, the olive green. So I realized that, and I said, oh, okay, I'm just going to keep the one, and I'm going to donate the black ones and the white ones. So notice the colors of the ones that you tend to go to, that gravitate towards. Notice the ones you don't wear. Learn from yourself what the colors are that you like, and don't buy things that are in the colors you don't wear. But learn it from yourself, okay? But none of that's going to happen if you don't take the time to listen to yourself and learn from what you're telling me. So saying to yourself, why do I buy it even though I don't need it? What does the buying? Does me going out and shopping make me feel better? I've done that. I've gone shopping to make myself feel better. Does me running around to every Target in the world to get this one thing distract me from other unhappiness in my life or fear of the bigger questions of what the hell's going on in my life and am I living a happy life? I don't know, but I got to find that thing at Target. So that's going to busy me. Cool. We all do it. You know? Yeah. Becky is saying physical clutter can cause emotional chaos. Yeah. Yeah. And trust, here's the wonderful thing Kay Shui is saying, and things kind of bopped up here. M. Garden is saying, my mom has my unopened toys in her house. Yeah. M. Garden, it's okay. I'm doing some TikTok lives, early, late. I'm bopping all over the place because I know my West Coast people have been underserved, and I feel bad about that. So I'm going to do some other ones. But yes, trust your body. Yeah. We are not encouraged to pay attention to our gut, our nervous system, because if we did, we would know that something doesn't feel right. Notice even when you don't want to declutter, you say, I don't feel like doing it. I don't want to do it. I don't feel like doing it. because your feeling body, your soul, your soul, your nervous system, whatever, your heart isn't in it. Notice when your heart isn't in it, it's really hard to do something. You do it half-assed, right? You only have one cheek in the game. Get your body involved. How can you get both cheeks in the game? How can you get your heart in it? And this is what I have found. This is why I call my coaching Destination Decluttered, to remind myself that when I don't know why I'm doing these things, why am I driving? Why am I going through this life? Because I want my life to look and feel and function a certain way. I have a destination in mind. And once I get there, and you do get there, clutter-wise, then how can I stay there? How can I keep it? I'm in that stage of my life, and I freaking love this. That so much good stuff is happening. My house is in good shape. So many good things are happening. I don't want more of other stuff. I just happily, wonderfully maintain and take care of the things that I truly care about. The connections I have, the people I have, keeping our house in good repair, getting the surface of a desk repaired, staying in touch with friends, maintaining the things that you have. But if you're not there yet, keep on going. But if you don't know why you're doing it, maybe you're doing it because you feel like you have to, you want it. But if you're not having fun and wanting to do this, let's talk about your destination. Let's design a life that you want to move towards. I'm kind of like a vacation planner too. I'm a vacation planner. I'm a life coach. I am like the co-pilot on your drive. You're the driver of your own life. You're behind the wheel. But I'm next to you saying, all right, where do you want to go? Now, if I ask you where you want to go and you say, I don't know, that's okay. We just sit there. But if you do know, I can help you start moving towards it. That's what I do. And I love it. Yeah. Ms. Kimba B is saying, what if I don't know? Here's what I want to offer to you with this. I am not a sporty person, but I do know there's a term in golf called a mulligan. I want to say, I don't know is kind of like the cork is like the giveaway. Once you get that out of your way and you say, I don't know, you get that phrase out of your way, but I don't know. I want you to say, but what if I did? What if I did? What if I did know? What would that look like? That's when you go a layer deeper. I don't know is a surface level thing. I don't know. And if you don't bother to find out, you're going to get a life that is based off of whatever vagaries happen. But if you say, I don't know, but I want to find out, I want to hang out and say what's important to me, that is when you start to design your destination of a decluttered home, of one room, of the table. You can chunk it down. Pay attention to yourself. Oh, Christina. Yeah, so Christina and I, disclaimer, Christina and she's one of my one-on-one clients. I do one-on-one coaching virtually. And actually, Christina, I didn't realize, Christina, I'm in Pennsylvania. She's in Florida. I had no idea. I wasn't clued into the crappy weather you guys are having. But Christina is saying to Ms. Kimba B, I promise you do. It's there inside of you, and give yourself the chance to discover it. Yeah. Give yourself the gift of discovering who you are before you die. That's what I say. Life is short, and I know, sadly, I have fewer years ahead of me than I do behind me. Now, do I wish I had learned what I know now? 20, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, sold years ago? Yeah. I didn't, but that's okay. I know it now, and man, is there going to be more quality in my life moving forward than ever before, and it's true. Okay? Carla is saying, and I love this because notice how we get our senses involved. So when you're designing, here's a couple of questions. How about this, Ms. Kimba B? And anybody who's saying, how do I design my destination decluttered? Get a notebook, get a pen. You don't have to show it to anybody else, but write it down. And here's a couple of things to get the creative juices flowing. Wicked easy questions. Surface question is, what do I want my home to look like? The next question, how do I want my home to function? Organized, that type of thing. And the most important question, though it's usually hard to start with, is how do I want to feel? That's the one that involves your heart. Okay? Then when you're asking how you want it to look, notice that's just one of your senses. How do you want it? How do you want your Barbie dream house to look? How do you want it to sound? Because Carla's another one of my clients, and trust me, I do not pay them to show up. We just have so much fun and we hang out together and this happens. But Carla said to me yesterday, which was so revolutionary, she says, I can't wait to hear an echo in a room and sit down and love everything I see around me. Notice that. How does your Barbie dream house sound? Now, my house sounds quiet. Sometimes I love the quiet. I don't like the chaos of TV or anything like that, so we never put the TV on. I love hearing music from my husband's studio, both music he's creating for himself and when other musicians show up to the house. I love, what does your dream house taste like? What does it smell like? Get your body, get your senses involved. And start to, if you do this, it might spark a little ember. And you keep that fire burning and you grow it. How can I make this more alive to me? And man, that's the life I want. As Tina Fey's daughter, who's probably now 87 years old, once said, I want to go to there. Like, man, yeah. And notice when I'm saying that, I'm leaning in. My heart is drawing me forward. You know you don't want something, your body goes, ooh, I get repelled. Your body moves back. When you're interested in something, you lean forward. And when you're kind of on the fence, you're on the fence. What side of the fence do you want to be on? Okay? My clutter is around clothes. Yeah, everybody. Okay. You're not alone with the clothes. Many of us didn't grow up with a lot, so we might now have the opportunity, the monetary opportunity or not, to make up for lost time, to buy the clothes, because buying the clothes makes us feel better. But there is a short-term feel better and there is a longer, more sustainable feel better. It's kind of like, and trust me, I have not the best eating habits on the planet, but it's like that quick kind of sugar rush versus salad and protein. You know, both of them are going to make you feel better, but one's going to give you that quick hit, and the other one's going to be a little bit more long-lasting. So get curious. Why? Everybody. Get curious where on the on the scale of not enough, just right, and too much, where your amount of clothing is in your life. Now, if you're cluttered, it's too much. So get curious why you have so many clothes. I can't pass up a sale. I love that. I'm going to buy it in every color. I didn't have enough clothes as a kid, and I deserve to have nice things. Notice those are all thoughts that I just offered up from my head that might make you feel like hanging on to it and buying more and buying more and buying more. We think these things will make us feel better, and up to a certain point they do. And this is one of my new phrases lately. It was fun until it wasn't. It worked until it didn't. And when it doesn't, that's when you know you've got too much and it's time to do something else. Okay? Can't let go. All right. Notice these things. You're telling yourself. That is also a sentence in your head. I can't let go. You know why? Maybe you're not seeing the reason to let go. Why should I let it go? I'm fearful of letting it go because I'm fearful if I let it go, then I won't have enough. But when we hang on with fear, what we're missing out on is a opening up and letting go to get another thing you want, which is peace, which is space, which is freedom, which is feeling better in your space. I don't know about you, but if I'm not traveling, I am spending a wicked lot of time in my house, going from room to room, going from here to the kitchen to the bathroom, getting open up the windows, I want every room in my house. I love walking through it because I feel good in every room. Because I feel good in every room, in the place that I spend most of my time, I walk around kind of in a perpetual state of feeling pretty darn good. And that has a positive ripple effect on every single area of my life. If I did not feel good in my life, I would not be showing up every single day for the next 10 days doing a TikTok live. I'd be like, screw you people, I've got my own issues, I'm going to deal with myself, and I would be probably on the other side scrolling. Okay? So I say this, I want to feel good in every room. Miss Kimba, letting go of some of the clothes may make you feel good in every room. But you have to be ready to, and not even ready, I'm ready. You have to be willing to, want to. I don't convince anybody to get into coaching. When I do a consultation with somebody, we just meet each other, see if we're a good fit, and then it's totally up to you whether you want to move forward or not. But when you're ready, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. I'm not a professor. The teacher appears. So maybe you're ready. Maybe your heart, maybe your co-pilot is like, listen to her. She's saying good stuff. Your kids are like, yeah, but, shh. I'm going to be here. I'm doing TikTok lives every week. I get videos. I get a website, destinationdecluttered.com. I am the resource available for you for when you're ready, but I'm not going to convince you. You have to want to do it because you are the one who's going to get to know yourself about these things. You're going to learn about yourself, but that's so freaking cool. Don't you want to know who you are before you die? I know I do. And I know myself now more than ever before. I'm still a work in progress. We all are. But man, has it improved my life a quadrillion%. Now, Katie Mueller is saying, or Mueller, hate that every horizontal surface has so much that when I set something down, things fall to the floor. Okay, here's the thing. If you hate it, then do something about it. Now, notice I am being lovingly firm. If there's something in your life you hate, do something about it. Notice that the opposite of hate is also love. Love yourself enough to pick one horizontal surface today and clear it off. So that you're going for your destination is putting something down, things don't fall to the floor. Now, I want to share with you, you may not know how to do this because you were never trained how to declutter. I can help you with that. I have a process I use, and it is so simple and so easy and so repeatable. You're like, yeah, right. It works, and it works in so many areas of your life. You may not know how to do it, or you may have thoughts in your head that cause you feelings, and there's a lot more kind of underneath the hood. This is another car metaphor. If you don't have the life you want, there may be some crossed wires, like spark plugs maybe? I don't know. I'm not a car person in that respect, but there's something going on underneath. It's not just the surface. My car may look good. It's nice and shiny and clean. But if you don't have gas in your car, if you don't have the windshield wipers going, if your engine is not working well, you can sit there all you want with it nice and good on the outside, but it feels crappy on the inside and you're not going somewhere. Spend the time to diagnose the issue. Get it fixed, and then you can drive anywhere you want for the rest of your life. You know? I love it. Bobby Dugas is using one of my favorite things, chunking it down. Now, again, that's not a lot of this stuff is not new. It's just the way we kind of put it together. Bobby is saying, so maybe this will help folks here. Bobby is saying, I love chunking it down, one box at a time. Collecting open space is new and thrilling for me now. Yeah. And Carla, I just love this because Carla is saying, and we're working together actively coaching, she said, I had no idea how much self-discovery was involved, and it's so amazing and clarifying. Yeah, I did not realize this myself when I was just trying to figure out how to find a job that I felt better at. That's how I kind of got into coaching because I had a lot of good stuff going on in my life, but I still couldn't crack this nut. And then I thought, let me do this, and I didn't realize how much of my life was affected by what was going on in here. And once I wasn't afraid to open that box and see what was in it and pull it out and examine it and decide if that's a thought I wanted to keep or a thought I wanted to give away. Once I calmed down the fear and said it's okay to look inside and learn, because your body, your nervous system wants to teach you these things. It wants to live, and it wants to live the best life possible. I'm taking my co-pilot and I, we go so many awesome places. You know? Yeah, okay, Katie. Start with your bedside table. It's small. It's doable. And check in with me on one of my next TikTok lives. I've got them listed. Today's Thursday, June 13th. Yep, 8:54. Okay, I get like 6 minutes. Tomorrow. You already know this if you're on the mailing list, but I printed out the email that I sent you, so I'm looking at the schedule. Friday, June 14th is tomorrow, 8 a.m. Eastern. I'll be here tomorrow. How about that? Katie, you do have time. You could spend 5 minutes. You could set a timer for 5 minutes and start small. Start small time-wise, start small space-wise. Okay? And start on your bedside table. Now, Girl for God 76, every time I clear off a space, it gets piled right back up. Do you have elves in your house? Do the elves pile it back up? Or do you? And you know what it is? It's probably you or the people you work with and you live with, and you probably, I know you have habits. You have the habit of piling things back up for whatever reason. Now this is fun. So Kara, I love seeing your little, the little like palm fronds next to your name because I know it's you. Kara is doing a wonderful job decluttering her vintage stuff. We have bonded over the fact that we are both from Mass, or, you know, I lived in Mass at one point from there. You can hear it in my voice. And we both love mid-century stuff. She's decluttering, a lot of commonalities. I think we're of the same age, generation, whatever. And Kara is saying, my garage is hard with unsold vintage and clutter. But, I was thinking about this. I'm going to hold on that thought. This is my ADHD brain. I'm going to hold on to that thought. I have gone through half of it this week. And this is a thing. Squad goals, plants, hashtag goals and hashtag plants, hashtag destination plants. A destination is a goal. I just like using destination because I like to travel more than I like sports. But here's what I want you to think of. Even Kara, get curious. What makes your garage hard? What could make it easier is going to be the opposite of that. When you write down, you know why it's hard? You know why it's hard? Because there's so goddamn much stuff in there. Okay, notice. It's a volume thing. There's a lot. How do I start making it feel easy? I start with a little. And I bet that's what you did because you've gone through half of it. Now, it may be hard because you're getting down to the bone, the really nitty gritty, whereas sometimes the surface stuff is easy, but the more surface you pull away, you get closer to the soul, the heart of the matter. And those things that involve your heart can be a little bit more difficult to decide what to do with. Okay? Clara says, I chunked down lawn mowing yesterday and did it piecemeal, and then I ran out of gas. Yes, we will all run out of gas on a daily basis. Physical energy-wise, mental energy-wise, and decision-making energy-wise. Let me repeat that. Decision-making energy depletes throughout the day. Ideally, you start every day with a full tank. Sometimes not. Sometimes you wake up, you're already tired. Decision making, decluttering. I said this yesterday. Decluttering, decision making. Decluttering is deciding, making a decision. Do I want this, fill in the blank, in my life now and in the future or not? And then listening to yourself for the answer. And then based on that answer, you take an action. Okay? All right, now TikTok is telling me I have like 2 minutes. I'm going to sign off quickly. But notice when you don't feel good, you're going to putter out. You're going to run out of gas. Take care of yourself enough on a daily basis. Even today, have you had some water? I haven't. Have I eaten anything? No, but I took some vitamins and I have some tea, and I'm going to take care of myself today. Take care of your physical body and your mental body, and everything is going to be easier. Okay? You can't mow a lawnmower with no gas in it. You can't drive a car forward if you don't have gas in your tank. So if you don't have gas in your tank, do things to fill your tank with gas. Okay? GGX 2000 says, I used to look at it as an all-day project. No. Then I chunk it down one drawer or area at a time. Yes, chunking it down. Here, good word. Okay, so chunking it down. I do this with my clients. I do it with myself. It's totally old school. I'm old school. I use paper and pen. I use a digital calendar as well because I'm Gen X. I'm every woman. Chunk down your days. Chunk down your everything. A bite at a time. A sip of water at a time. A step in the right direction at a time. Start with the lowest possible, smallest little step, but just start. What is the easiest step that you can take that does not activate your nervous system, that can just get you moving? Okay? Yeah, writing it down. Get your thoughts out of your head and onto paper. Okay? And I love it. Jing Ji is saying it was great to listen while I started on my desk at work. Thanks, you're welcome. Give yourself some grace. Yes, forgive yourself your trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. I don't know about temptation, but we'll see. And Mrs. Crafty is saying, I watched your live yesterday and it prompted me to declutter a bedroom. Yes, I'm glad I had a great vacation, Mama Pepper too. GGX 2000, you guys, I got a scoot, hopping on to coaching. If you want to get in touch, destinationdecluttered.com/join is the website and mailing list. Show up for next TikTok live, like my page, all that. All right, you got this. Just start. Start small, but just start, and I'll see you tomorrow. All right, bye.